I'm Jeremy from Pink Orange, and today we are exploring the different kind of motorcycles and who's riding what. To help me out with this, I brought Kevin. Kevin is the motorcycle guru. What is the biggest class of motorcycles, Kev?
I would say the biggest class would be touring bikes.
Touring,
yeah.
So we're like talking touring like cruiser?
That's right.
So we're talking Harley Davidson and everybody else who's trying to be a Harley Davidson.
That's exactly it.
Okay. Who drives those bikes? I think I know who drives those bikes.
Usually it would be retired gentlemen.
Retired. So
And,
old dudes.
Old dudes,
Yeah.
let's say old dudes. And just the wannabe weekend warriors. So you find that more of the old guys are out there rekindling their youth.
With a Harley Davidson.
With a Harley Davidson.
Yeah. Which, if we trace back Harley's lineage, you know, it was the guys coming back from the war and the motorcycle clubs, and the early motorcycle racing was all Harley Davidson.
That's right.
So the most American bike you can drive is a Harley Davidson, and the old dudes get that. So the main feature of a touring bike and Harleys and all that stuff that we're talking about is you sit like you're on a couch.
So you're sitting more upright, and the comfort is phenomenal. From radios to vents for cooling to even heated seats.
Yeah, heated seats. Bike number 2, the Super Sport. You know, so the Super Sport bike is the closest motorcycle you could buy to an all-out race bike, and they are not far off from the race bike. Obviously, the MotoGP bikes and stuff are quite a bit crazier, but these bikes are all about power, performance, crazy brakes, crazy handling, and just like pumping out stupid horsepower out of a small package. Now, out of your experience, Kevin, who's buying the Super Sport?
Young people, middle-aged guys, because they're the ones who can afford it.
You had a ZX-10 at one point.
Absolutely.
So guys like this also buy Super Sport bikes.
Thank you.
Yeah, the ZX-10, fast fucking bike.
What I like is just the sheer adrenaline rush from speed. The holy shit in the corner when you're coming in too hot and controlling your mind to go faster. That is what I love about the Super Sport bikes.
And for pure acceleration, there's nothing, there's no car, there's nothing that can make you feel acceleration like a Super Sport bike. It's just, yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. The people buying the Super Sport bikes, they're cool guys. They're cooler than the Harley guys.
Category number 3 would be your smaller bikes, your scooters and stuff like that for the in the city commute kind of thing. You know?
Like the Grom?
Like the Grom, for
and
example.
A Vespa?
Vespa, yes, indeed. Like these bikes are great for moving around in the city. Not necessarily good for a highway trip, but great in the city.
And if we think worldwide and not just like North America, that's probably the biggest category. Because if you look like there's brands that we don't get here, but in India and
Italy
and all that, there's a ton of these motorcycles, and they're people movers. They're what gets everybody from point A to point B. They're cheap to buy, they're cheap to run, and they're just like cool little bikes. You know, from owning a Grom myself, they're fun. You know, like you can have fun on a little bike. It doesn't need to be crazy fast. So you just have to have a crazy fast mindset.
That's right.
Category number 4. Let's go with the dirt bike guys.
Yes.
So these guys are real men. Those are the guys who are like, oh, I broke my ribs last weekend, but I'm going out again this weekend. Every bone gets popped out, the shoulders, the legs, the small digits. They all get screwed up, but these guys just go hard. Or you get the guy who thinks he goes hard, but he actually sucks.
And he gets hurt.
Yes. Yes. If you're going to get hurt on a bike, a fast dirt bike is going to get it done.
Yep. The whole dirt bike world involves a lot of money, rich parents, and a lot of moving around. To be competitive, you've got to be at a young age to really good at it.
So when you get a guy that's coming up your driveway to bring you a motorcycle to work on, and it's a dirt bike, what is your first thought?
My first thought is...
Your first honest thought. You're thinking about it too much.
When I look at it, like, I just look at all the abuse the bike takes, all the bearings. They all get a serious pounding. So I look at that. And then I start looking at the engine and stuff like this, because They get used really hard, and seals and shafts get worn and stuff like that.
It is by far the motorcycle that gets the most beat on. The whole principle of buying a dirt bike is to kick the shit out of it every time you use it. Usually the race guys are pretty intense and changing their oil like way too fast, and intense guys. So that's the dirt bike category. Awesome dudes.
Now,
The best category, the ultimate category. Come on, say it.
your adventure riders.
Yes!
The fellas that are divorced and they're trying to rekindle their youth, and they do that solo trips from one point of the countryside to the other.
So are you
to
saying
find themselves.
Are you saying I'm soon to be divorced?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the adventure bike came from the sport touring bike, but with giving a neutral riding position. Neutral riding position means you can ride it off-road. You can ride the bike standing up, and it's very comfortable. So for rougher terrain, they gave it a lot more suspension, but they made us a bike that was quite a bit more comfortable than a dual sport bike for those longer trips and to get all over the place. And they tend to have bikes that actually have power. Like my KTM, it's a fast bike. Like it's by no means what you would consider a dual sport bike. It's a true adventure bike, and the name says it all. The adventure guys are just all about new experiences and going all over the place. I don't necessarily agree with the demographic that you're stating. I think the adventure bike is all encompassing. I think you get from young to old on the adventure bike. I think an adventure bike is a state of mind, not a demographic.
Well, a state of mind, eh?
Yup, fancy words.
90% of the time, it's an older fellow on a solo run.
I guess I'm just an old fella at heart.
Yes, indeed.
Category number 6. Category number 6 is
Your dual sport.
the dual sport. So, as the name implies, you could do 2 different kinds of sports with it. What are the 2 sports, Kevin?
You're on the road or you're in the dirt.
So one minute you're on the road, and the next minute you're off the road.
That's right. Exactly.
One bike does it all.
Does it all.
Not really well, though.
Not really
To be
well.
fair. So the dual sport is kind of like, jack of all trade, master of none.
Yeah.
It'll be a very decent off-road bike, and there's a big range from a light to a heavy bike. And then it'll be a decent road-going bike. Typically, most of these bikes are thumpers, so single cylinders. And when you're riding on the highway, they're just not meant for it. So it's kind of a nice bike to get around and everything. But if you get serious on off-road and you really want to go with a motocross, and if you get serious on road, you'd want to go with an adventure bike. So the dual sport is kind of bridging a gap there for the guy who just wants to do a little bit of everything.
That's right.
You see a lot more new riders on the dual sport because they don't quite know what they want to do yet.
Right.
But am I wrong on that?
Nope, you're exactly correct.
There, I know I am.
Oh, absolutely. You like that.
So I hope you liked watching what categories of bikes we could think of and who do we think rides the bikes. I'm Jeremy from Pink Orange. This is Kevin, the motorcycle guy. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know if we missed anything. Bye.